Hey everyone, welcome to my fourth quarter inquiry project, sadly the last one of this year. My driving question this quarter is, what was life like in America during the 1940s and how does it differ from today? To answer those questions, we're going to be using one of my favorite games of all time, L.A. Noire by Rockstar Games. L.A. Noire takes place in Los Angeles right after World War II in the late 40s. You play as World War II Marine Corps veteran and now detective Cole Phelps. We're going to touch on and compare 5 topics: transportation, clothing, music and entertainment, technology, and society. So transportation, starting with cars. Back then, cars looked and act nothing like the ones do today. Cars today have monitors to play movies, sound systems to connect your phone to, and you even can talk on your phone through your car. Completely different from then. Cars only had a radio and simple dials for speedometers, not electric screens. Most cars couldn't even show you the time. Cars definitely look different as well. This is a Packard, and this is one of the hot cars back then, along with Cadillacs and Chryslers. It looks completely different from hot cars now, like Lambos, Ferraris, or Bugattis. Also, take a look at this cop car. It looks very different from these, inside and out. There's no fancy cop computer set up in the inside, and even listen to the siren. Buses, streetcars, and trains were also large ways of transportation, but that sums up the difference in vehicles in the 1940s.
LAPD, we're investigating a murder. You had a sailor and a woman in a green dress on your bus late last night?
That's correct.
And the woman got off first, around 2 a.m.?
Yeah, that's right. And the sailor stayed on all the way to downtown.
Can you tell us where you let the woman off?
On California Street. To tell you the truth, she looked a little lost, like she got off on the wrong stop or something. I didn't like dropping her off near that hobo camp.
You've been a big help, Mr. Zeffirelli. LAPD, we're investigating a murder.
What's that got to do with me?
The fare you picked up from Barron's bar last night. What was the woman wearing?
It was a green dress. Oh, don't tell me something's happened to her.
Tell me about her.
She was with this sailor, and he was all over her. She wasn't having any of it. Said she just wanted to dance. But he had that look in his eye.
Where did you drop them off?
It's at the Crystal Ballroom.
What time?
After midnight. 12:30? Something like that.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
Well, that's gonna ruin my day.
Next up is clothing, and you already probably could tell a huge difference. He's wearing a hat and full suit everywhere. Many adults today dress nothing like this, but you had swag if you owned a piece from a nice suit brand like Southwick, whereas today these are nice brands. If you were really hot, you had your suits custom made. Our clothing today is a lot more casual no matter what it is we're doing. His outfits are outfits we would wear on Easter or to a wedding. Here's what a detective today might wear. Still pretty different from his clothes. We also learned about zoot suits, which were popular with Mexican, African, and Italian Americans. Women were also still very expected to wear dresses or skirts, very different from today where tons of us wear simple jeans or leggings. But that shows us the difference in clothing styles back then. Alright, so music and entertainment I decided to do together because, well, music, specifically jazz or rhythm and blues, was a huge form of entertainment. There weren't super cool music videos, but there were dance halls. Dance halls were the ideal swing dance location and the perfect day or the perfect place to meet someone new. Huge musicians would get booked and perform one evening for the audience. Here's a clip.
And now my heart's a blazing ruin. You say that you were only fooling. Don't walk away. Don't do me wrong. Don't leave me singing.
We could check if she was a regular.
Look, I was angry. I was having a good time. She has to go and ruin it. We always have to do what she wants to do. Last night she wanted to go dancing,
Any idea where?
where she always goes. A bar down on North Beaudry Avenue. Baron's Bar. She goes there, drinks too much, gets maudlin, and calls me.
Another big place to hang out included bars. People wouldn't always go to drink, but just to get out the house. There were also TV shows and movies. This is what your TV would look like back then. Pretty bad, huh? TVs were tiny compared to the huge 60-inch TVs people own today. Before TVs, people listened to shows on a radio, and there still wasn't a color TV. There were movie stars and actors that people loved and adored, similar to today, like Humphrey Bogart and Lucille Ball. Technology was extremely different from today. I mean, just look at that phone. When you picked up the phone, you had to speak to an operator like this.
Operator, give me R&I.
Putting you through now.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Were there any incident reports filed in the vicinity of Baron's Bar on North Beaudry Avenue? We're tracking a sailor who was involved in a fight outside the bar.
I can check the reports, Detective. I have a message for you from Captain Donnelly. Message reads, James Jessup, U.S. Navy able seaman, has information relevant to your case. Jessup is currently being...
Cole has to ask to speak to the police department. It wasn't as simple as just typing your number. Well, you couldn't even type. You had to use that little circle spinny thing and spin it to each number. Terrible, right? That's called a rotary phone. And people didn't have mobile phones, so you had to go to these special phones, often called game wells, on the street to contact the police or emergency services. If you were out and needed to call your mom to pick you up, you had to spare some change and use a payphone. So annoying. As you're seeing right now, those were cameras in the 40s. Extremely different than today. We already talked about TVs, but the computers were terrible. Oh wait, there were none. They still used typewriters. Gross. Alright, last but not least is society back then compared to today. Racism was still a thing then and unfortunately still is. Blacks or African Americans were called out of their name and mistreated openly by anyone.
You picked the wrong cop, animals. Keep very still, Fleetwood. Don't give me an excuse to shoot you. I have a pet judge who hates blacks. He'll give you 50 years for your two buddies. Another 30 for stealing from Uncle Sam. You'll be out by the time you're 110. Imagine the changes you'll see.
Government issue morphine. We use the same syrettes in Okinawa.
Negro junkies can't take supply this pure.
You know these guys?
Although in 1947 is when Jackie Robinson became the first African American to play Major League Baseball. The game does take place in LA, and like we learned during remote learning, Hispanics and Latinos were treated unfairly as well. They were called racial terms and expected to do simple jobs that didn't need high education. In some places, Hispanic children attended a separate school.
Did you see who stole the Packard?
Hell yes, I did. I saw 3 Mexicans going to work on it.
Can you tell us what they were doing?
Using the headlights of an old Ford so they could strip the thing. I yelled out to them, I'll call the cops. So they loaded up their car and drove off, tooting and hollering and yelling obscenities at me in Mexican.
You speak Spanish, sir?
No, I do not.
Save it for the DA, Chico.
We're looking for Gabriel Delgado.
Gabriel?
We're from the police. Policia, you understand?
Yes, I understand. Could you come
Market
inside?
delivers here?
Yeah, sure does. The Mexes love a little slice with their tequila.
Fine.
Still like today, minority races were often accused of being up to no good simply because of their race. Women were also still thought of as less than man. They were often called broads, which wasn't always used negatively, but they were also abused physically, although it was
Why would
illegal.
I want to meet another fascist from the LAPD?
Sorry about this, Cole. What an evening I'm having. First a Negro puts his hands on me, and then this.
They were expected to do female jobs such as cook, clean, and stay home to watch the kids. Getting a divorce wasn't big back then, so women would stay with their husband just to keep from having a bad reputation. It's important to observe the mistakes of the past so we can make the future better. But that'll be just about everything, and I think we can say that the late 1940s were extremely different from today, from cars, clothing, entertainment, and of course technology. Society in America is still very far from perfect, but with enough hard work we can change that soon. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed.